Welcome to the Full Moon Film Buff, episode 98. We're going to talk about Howling 6, The Freaks from 1991. I watched this on Amazon Prime. I had not seen this before. As always, we start with the prominent crew and cast. You can always find links to the complete credit list in the show notes. The film was directed by Hope Perello, written by Gary Bradner and Kevin Rock, with special effects by Todd Masters. Hope Perello is a director and producer known for her work in independent cinema. She made her directorial debut with this film. Detailed information about her career is limited in publicly available sources. I discussed Gary Bradner when I covered Howling 2 from 1985. Kevin Rock wrote 7 movies in the 90s. Specific details about his career are limited. I noticed that Rock wrote the infamous low-budget 1994 Marvel movie, The Fantastic Four, for Roger Corman. Todd Masters is a special effects artist and founder of Masters Effects, a prominent special effects studio in the entertainment industry. He has worked on numerous high-profile films and television series, creating practical effects, prosthetics, and creature designs for projects such as True Blood from 2009 to 2014, Slither in 2006, and Tales from the Crypt from 1992 to 1995. My daughter would be very disappointed in me if I didn't mention Sonic the Hedgehog in 2020. Masters has received multiple awards for his work, including Emmy Awards for his contributions to the makeup and prosthetic effects in various television productions. Cast includes Brendan Hughes as Ian, Michelle Matheson as Elizabeth, Sean Sullivan as Winston, billed as Sean Gregory Sullivan, Antonio Fargas as Bellamy, Jared Barclay as Dewey, Bruce Payne as R.B. Harker, billed as Bruce Martin Payne, Gary Carlos Cervantes as the Sheriff Fuller, billed as Carlos Cervantes. Brendan Hughes comes from Werewolf royalty. I didn't originally mention it, but one of his first roles was an uncredited role as the werewolf in An American Werewolf in London in 1981. Michelle Matheson began her career in the mid-'80s. She started on television shows like Mr. Belvedere from 1985 to 1990 and Life Goes On from 1989 to 1991. This film was her first movie role. Sean Sullivan started working in the 80s and is still working today. He's done mostly television, but has appeared in some great movies like Back to the Future Part 3 in 1990 and Wayne's World in 1993. Interestingly, he has 3 Grammy Awards. Antonio Fargas is best known for portraying Huggy Bear in the TV series Starsky and Hutch from 1975 to 1979. His career began in the 60s before he made notable appearances in blaxploitation films of the 70s like Shaft in 1971. Across 110th Street in 1972, and Foxy Brown in 1974. Beyond his film and TV work, Fargas has a successful stage career, appearing in numerous theatrical productions and demonstrating his versatility as an actor across multiple mediums. Jared Barclay began his career as a child vaudeville performer at age 3, alongside Judy Garland, Shirley Temple, and Sammy Davis Jr. He made his feature film debut in the 1957 teen drama Untamed Youth. In 1962, he relocated from LA to New York to pursue theater. Barclay later worked as a voice actor in several Hanna-Barbera cartoons beginning in the 70s. Also beginning in the 80s, Barclay taught acting. Howling 6 was one of Barclay's final roles. I discussed Bruce Payne when I covered Full Eclipse from 1993. Gary Carlos Cervantes has a 5-decade career in film and television that is still ongoing. He's appeared in many notable productions, including roles in Scarface in 1983, Commando in 1985, Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 1987, and Traffic from 2000, as well as parts in tons of popular TV series over the years. My favorite role he played was his lone video game voice for Red Dead Redemption in 2010. None of the Howling films have matched the original in terms of quality. Number 6 isn't the worst, but it's certainly also not the best. It takes some time to get going, and while it's never really scary, it is occasionally disturbing and thought-provoking. I recommend this film to fans of the Howling series and those who enjoy an unconventional werewolf story about a carnival setting. But if you're just a general fan, you can skip this one. Now that I've read the novels, I can see what plot points they mined to write this movie. Most of the film takes place in and around a carnival freak show. Ian is reminiscent of Malcolm, and the Werewolf Freak Show is inspired by Grollo the Animal Boy. But that's all the film borrows from the books. So let's move on to the synopsis. A girl runs through the woods, chased by something that corners her and kills her, leaving behind only the teddy bear she was holding. A young British man named Ian Richards walks a dirt road carrying a satchel and a teddy bear. He enters the town of Canton Bluff. Dewey hires him to restore the church. Ian befriends Dewey's daughter Elizabeth in the process. A circus, Harker's World of Wonders, rolls into town. Harker gives sanctuary to freaks. Ian and Elizabeth go on a date to the circus, and Ian wins her a teddy bear. They take a wrong turn and end up in a haunted attraction where they almost kiss. They run into R.B. Harker, owner of the circus. He introduces the pair to several carnival freaks, including his newest addition, Winston. Back home, Elizabeth tries to hook up with Ian, but he's reluctant and rejects her. The next day, the town banker has gone missing. She was last seen in the presence of Harker. Ian's preparing to leave town. That night is the full moon, and Ian transforms into a werewolf, not expecting that. I figured the werewolf was at the circus. Anyway, Harker's assistant Bellamy sees the werewolf and informs Harker right away. After Ian transforms back into a human, Harker abducts him. Harker uses a crystal and some magic words to spark a partial transformation. Ian is hunting Harker for some reason. When Ian wakes up in a cage, Harker confirms Ian's fears that he has torn Elizabeth limb from limb. Dewey argues that Ian is the devil's work. The other freaks torment Ian in his cage. Fuller attempts to rescue Ian. Fuller reveals that Elizabeth is alive and well. To protect her, Ian won't leave the cage. Winston and Ian form a bond. Harker adds Ian to his freak show as a dangerous werewolf with uncontrollable urges for human blood. Harker mocks Ian in front of the crowd and forces a transformation. The crowd is surprised that Ian can control his cravings and still has part of his human mind. Fuller finds evidence in Ian's satchel about a mysterious murders related to the circus. He discovers the banker's body in the circus garbage and attempts to arrest Harker. Harker reveals himself to be a werewolf-vampire hybrid monster and kills Fuller, whose corpse is discovered the next morning. Now, the townspeople believe that Ian killed Fuller. Meanwhile, Bellamy tortures Ian for putting on a poor show. Ian escapes his cage and runs away with Elizabeth, who warns him that the townsfolk want to kill him. Pruitt accidentally finds Harker's coffin and dies as a consequence. Ian reveals to Elizabeth that Harker killed his family and turned him into a werewolf. Now they hook up. Dewey blesses enough silver to produce bullets to arm the town. Ian leaves to confront Harker. Dewey finally looks in the satchel and learns the truth. Harker knocks him out, but doesn't have enough time to kill him yet. Ian reaches Harker's RV and finds no one there. As he exits, the townspeople surround him. Harker orders them to shoot, but they refuse, seeing just a man. Fed up, Harker transforms, and the townspeople riddle him with bullets, to no effect. The townsfolk flee. Ian runs, and Harker pursues him. Meanwhile, Elizabeth is attacked by Toons. She shoots him, and Carl attacks her. Dewey shoots them with an arrow. Ian and Harker fight. Harker initially overpowers Ian. Winston helps Ian transform, who then gains the upper hand. Harker mortally wounds Winston. Ian stabs Harker and exposes him to the sun, destroying Harker. All that remains is dust and clothes. Ian carries Winston away as Dewey and Elizabeth watch. Now, the werewolf transformation scenes, while not groundbreaking, are effective for a low-budget film of this era. The wolf makeup looks good, but the werewolf-vampire hybrid is much better with black, glossy skin. As far as werewolf lore goes, the film interestingly combines werewolf lore with vampire mythology, presenting a unique twist on both creatures. It also explores the idea of the werewolf as a misunderstood outsider rather than just a mindless beast. Ian has some control over his behavior as a werewolf. He doesn't kill Winston's cat, but he was deathly worried he had killed Elizabeth, which tells us he doesn't remember what he's done while he's in werewolf form. I think it's highly likely that he thinks he's more dangerous and more of a monster than he actually is. I get it. People would react with extreme horror upon seeing him transform and seeing him in his lycanthropic form. So let's talk about divergent themes in similar settings. Horror fiction often revisits familiar settings, reimagining them to explore different themes. Here we see a compelling example in the contrast between Howling 6, The Freaks, and the third book in Gary Bradner's The Howling series. Both share a carnival setting, but they differ significantly in their treatment of outcasts and belonging. In Bradner's book, the carnival is a sanctuary for the protagonist Malcolm. It's a place where he connects with other freaks, creating a microcosm of understanding for societal outcasts. The film, however, presents a darker interpretation. Ian is forcibly brought to the carnival, held captive, and subjected to cruelty. This stark contrast transforms the carnival from a haven into an exploitative prison. The thematic divergence stems mainly from the different portrayals of carnival leadership. In the film, antagonist R.B. Harker personifies exploitation and control. He sees the freaks as assets to be used for his personal gain, disregarding their well-being and autonomy. This contrasts sharply with Bateman Styles in the book, who is an ally to the outcast. Styles fosters an environment where unique qualities are celebrated, enabling the freaks to find empowerment in their differences. Ian serves as a metaphor for the outcast experience. He struggles to exist between two worlds, unable to fully integrate into normal society due to his condition. This mirrors the experience of many who feel they don't fit in due to differences. Simultaneously, Ian's werewolf nature makes him a subject of fascination and exploitation within the carnival. This duality reflects society's complex relationship with those perceived as different, a mixture of fear and curiosity, desire to distance, yet drawn to the uniqueness. Through these contrasting portrayals, both works comment on societal attitudes towards differences. The book suggests the possibility of creating safe spaces where outcasts find acceptance and community, presenting an optimistic view of supportive micro-societies. The film takes a more cynical stance, highlighting how differences can be exploited and how those in power can manipulate those who don't fit in. These Divergent explorations showcase the versatility of horror as a genre. By reimagining similar settings, creators shed light on various aspects of the human experience, challenging audiences to consider different perspectives on societal issues. Both works contribute to a broader conversation about differences and belonging, reminding us that our treatment of those who are different reflects our values as a community. So, if you like lycanthropes, like, share, and subscribe. Contribute your thoughts and additional observations in the comments down below. Let me know what I missed or if you noticed anything. Next, I plan on discussing The White Reindeer from 1952. Keep your eye on the moon, a silver bullet in the chamber, and we'll see you back next episode.